Welcome to the DudeFax podcast. On this week's episode, we are talking with world-renowned Puerto Rican Freddy Valcarcel. So excited to have him on this week. We'll be talking about a new ministry that he's developing that really is a neat opportunity. So we're glad that you're here, and we're going to get this sucker rolling right now. Welcome to the DudeFax podcast. We're four guys who in the past all served in the same youth ministry together. Now, more than 10 years later, 10 years older, but not really 10 years more mature, we felt it was time to join forces once again. So now we create weekly podcasts dealing with pop culture, ministry, and church life, and mixed all throughout is a healthy dose of the humor you would only expect from old youth pastors. So if you love Jesus, the local church, and laughter, you're going to fit right in. We encourage you to sit back, relax, grab an ice cold Dr. Pepper, and enjoy this week's episode of the DudeFax podcast. All right, guys, welcome to episode 60-something of the DudeFax podcast. Maybe three?
63.
Okay, it's a special one because live in studio with us, not only do we have all four of the dudes on, and it's been a bit, but joined in studio is our favorite swagger homeboy ever.
Oh, yeah.
Freddy Valcarcel.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah. And the introduction, too. That was pretty cool. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, we love you. We love you. So we wanted to have Freddy in. He's doing some cool new stuff in his life. But before we jump into that, today is a very special day for the DudeFax for another reason. This episode, our first episode that's ever been sponsored by somebody, is this one. Ooh. And our episode today is sponsored by a great fan of the DudeFax, Luke Bain. Luke Bain is a real estate agent that works with buyers in Harvey Real Estate out of Clarksville, but he really covers all of Middle Tennessee. He's a great guy. He's actually a personal friend of us of the show, and he's been my personal real estate agent for a long time, and he's never let me down. We're going to talk a little bit more about Luke later on, but right now, if you're looking for a real estate agent, jot down his number, and it is, we'll put it in the notes somehow as well, but you can reach him at 404-617-4113, or you can email him at lbaine, that's the letter L, BAINE, at gmail.com. Luke, thanks, man, and check him out if you have any real estate needs or questions. So, Freddy. Yeah.
Round of applause.
Well done.
Thank you.
Sorry you have to follow that. It is good to have you. So we all know Freddy from the time we spent at First Baptist Church in Clarksville. Freddy, you came on as the Hispanic pastor. Is that acceptable to say? What's the PC way of saying that?
It's a swagger.
It's a swagger pastor?
No, it's Spanish. I think it's Hispanic. Hispanic pastor. Yeah,
I just don't know anymore.
I feel like asking what's the PC way to say something is the most non-PC way to say it.
Yeah.
That's what you say before you say something really
No, it's Hispanic. Hispanic pastor, yes.
Okay, so
that was like 50 years ago.
It was a long time ago. You had about the same amount of grade then as you do now.
Yeah.
Is there some just for men in that?
I don't know about that. The ministry, I got a lot of grade.
Yes, it does.
Especially serving in Puerto Rico, it really does.
Yeah, so that's where a lot of our history comes from in this room with Freddy. Freddy planted a church in Puerto Rico, not with First Baptist, but before you did the church plant, we did a couple trips there with the youth group. And I got to say, those were some interesting trips.
Great memories there.
Great memories of that.
The Zingo.
Yeah. I remember when Grant, he ran out of clothes, or he didn't wash his clothes for like 2 weeks, and he was wearing the same shirt for like 2 weeks.
The red tank top?
Yeah, the red tank top. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
That was hilarious.
He was just trying to show off his guns.
My favorite part was that your mom made us breakfast one morning, Freddy.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Te amo." And the next morning, she gave me a bigger breakfast than you. You were not happy.
Yeah, she was a special woman.
Yeah. We loved your mama. So sweet. She was I would tell her she's my Puerto Rican mama.
Yeah. She loved you guys.
The cafe con leche that she made, I've never been able to replicate that. She put the recipe down for me, and I could not.
I tell you, she had this book of recipes, and my son, who's a chef,
chef for all you English speakers.
Chef. I'm sorry, chef.
Thanks, Jeff.
She was like, she knew she was gonna go with the Lord, and she said, hey, Freddy, make sure that your son get this book because I know he wanted it. And it's funny because he got the book, but nothing tastes the same. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Yeah, the hands that make it is always one of the most important things in a recipe.
Can't replicate.
I think it also maybe needed a little bit of that Puerto Rican air.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes.
Yeah.
A little bit of mosquitoes.
Bazingo.
Was it the coquis?
Oh, the coquis,
the
the little
frogs.
frogs. Oh man, yeah.
Had multiple
coquille
showers
oil.
with plenty of coquille friends.
Shower with a coquille every night.
Yeah.
One of our trips was during the whole it was an ALS ice bucket challenge, and I just remember taking a shower and posting something along the lines that I just did the ice bucket challenge in my shower tonight at Puerto Rico because it was freezing cold. But man, we are glad to have you on with us. And as we're just sharing some memories here, one of my favorite moments in all of Puerto Rico occurred with David Cates, and David's an avid listener of the show. And we, as soon as we get there, one of these trips, we go into I don't know what city we went into, but we went into the square, and there's a little worship service going on that the church did. And we didn't really know. We thought it was just kind of a fun thing. And Tyler Bond and David Cates get up on stage and just start dancing. And it's uncomfortable dancing. And I don't know if we had met Luis yet.
Yeah, no, I got in trouble.
That was his
immediately. That was like the first night, and I got in trouble with the convention. They were like, "What is this? What did you brought here?"
Exposure to
Did you bring a bunch of Pentecostals?
I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I'm sorry.
There's honestly no preparation that can be done for either one of those boys, but also
that's true.
the combination of the two of them. I can only imagine if we saw them together now.
Should bring them both on the podcast.
We should.
They've both been on. Just need them both at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it is. We were kind of crazy at that time. Remember, we did like 4 VVS like in 1 week.
Yes.
And it was just, I remember coming that Friday, I was exhausted. And my wife surprised me with a trip to Detroit. And later on, we're going to know why Detroit is so important to me. No, I'm not a fan of the sports teams there, but it's just the city. It's very special to me. I am not. But yeah, she surprised me with a trip to Detroit after like 1 million VVS within 1 week. And I don't know if you knew this, but before I could take you guys there, I don't know if Ryan knows this or Grant, I had to ask permission to the local drug lord to let us use the community center.
Remember that.
And me, that I'm 4 foot nothing, talking to this dude that I know what he does. I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy can do like this, and I'm gone. And he was such a wonderful person. He was, or he is. I don't know. I don't know yet.
He's probably chill.
But anyway, he was like, this is so great, you guys doing this, and this is your bodyguard. He's gonna be with you, Pastor, working the whole week. I'm like, I don't know if I need it. No, yeah, you're gonna have one.
I don't know if I knew we had a bodyguard.
Yeah. He was always there, dude. He was always there.
Maybe I just thought he's one of the worst.
He was out in the background.
He was a skinny tall dude.
Okay.
And he was always there. I was like, man, no, it wasn't you, Grant.
Maybe he played basketball with us.
See, I think he did, but yeah, he was just funny. It was just funny.
Well, there was a trip. I don't know if it was the same one, but it was with Community Life Church, and we took a band, and we were going in at night. This may be the same thing, but I remember they walked us right into the middle of this neighborhood.
And they were selling
apartment
drugs.
complex, and they were, and because we wanted to pray for the guy, his son had been shot, right? And I remember you just telling us now, and because we saw from the outside, we saw these drug deals going on over the wall surrounding it. And you go in, and I mean, there's guys there with guns out and everything. But we walked right into the middle of that place, and we surrounded that guy and prayed for him and for his son. And but when that happened, he did that, snap his finger, everything stopped. We prayed, and then he was like, "All right, let's kick it back up."
Yeah.
So
I remember. Well, first of all, I mean that's how you know when you are doing what God is calling you to do, that He's protecting you, because that was a scary sight. I mean, you see drugs, you see guns, and it's dark, and you really, and I'm like, I'm Papa Bear. I'm like, okay, I got all this gringos with me. I gotta protect them somehow. I gotta make sure that they're come back to stay safe, and then I hear this guy say, pray for us, and I'm like, okay, I know what you guys do for a living. So I'm like, Lord, how can I pray when I know what they're doing? But it was a great time. It was a great experience. I think this group, we came closer after those weeks in Puerto Rico, because we saw so much suffering. We saw so much brokenness, and it really changed me. I mean, when I came back from Puerto Rico, first of all, I was worn out. I had to take a break from ministry. There was a lot of stuff going on with my health. But you can pick a pinpoint. It's all the stuff that we saw out there. I mean, I was doing a funeral every week for teenager kids getting killed.
Wow.
By gangs. So.
Well, and just seeing God's work in your life from the time at First Baptist, thinking that they were going to be able to send you, that not happening. We don't have to go into detail, but that
that's a great picture. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
that's me, and I was initiated into the game.
That's right, you were.
You were.
Did they give you a street name?
Yeah, El Gringo.
El Gringo.
G-Riz.
But seeing God at work through that, and then you being able to connect with community life, and then the experiences from there, just how God kind of built all that. I know you're a big believer in just God's sovereignty over our lives, and that He is at work for good for those that love Him and are called according to His purpose, and that He will direct our paths as we let Him. And throughout the years, we've all gone different places, done different things, but we've kept in contact and remained that to where. And I just think back, because we hadn't seen each other in a while, you and I. And what led to Freddy being on the podcast tonight is my wife and I were walking out of Opry Mills a month or so ago, and Freddy and Giselle are sitting there in the food court, and we just walk up and hug each other, and we sit and talk for about 30 minutes, and reconnected and talk some about what God's doing in your life now. And so you being on the podcast to share some of that, I think just more evidence how God works and His goodness. So tell us a little bit. We got about 15 minutes here. Tell us a little bit about your salvation story. I know there's a lot there, but kind of how God has worked in your life when you to become a Christian, and then how He's guided you through ministry to where you are now and the new work that He's doing.
Well, I didn't grow up at church. I didn't. I was. I guess I was a Eastern Sunday Catholic because that's my parents were. My dad. My mom is more evangelical, but she was more evangelical. But anyway, I was in the Marine Corps. And I don't want to say that every Marines drink, but this Marine drank. I was drinking a lot.
You die if you don't, right?
I guess.
I think in this case you die if you do.
I mean,
So after I got out of the Marine Corps, I started working in logistics. That was my job in the Marine Corps. So I ended up being the director of operation for a company in Detroit, and it was a great job. I was making a lot of money. I had an assistant. I had a parking spot, and but I was drinking a lot. Annie was out of control. I was traveling a lot. I was really being a bad father, a bad husband, a bad person. I remember I fired somebody on Christmas Eve. So I mean, I was just a totally bad person. If you guys would have met me that time, it was like 20 years ago. We probably won't be doing a podcast because I was a really bad person. But my wife and I we split up. That was like 19 years ago, and that's when I hit rock bottom. And I remember I met this person at an event. She was staffing. She was in charge of staffing company, and she was bringing people to interview for some of our positions. Anyway, her dad is a pastor, Pastor Luis. And one day I remember that I was drinking. I was really depressed. Somehow I ended up at his church. And it was kind of scary because his church was in an abandoned building, in the basement of an abandoned building that somehow they rented it in the middle of Detroit, Michigan. Right in the middle of Detroit, Michigan. That's why I say Detroit is so important to me. And anyway, I started going to his church, and I remember one sermon he preached. The name of the sermon was "Let It Go." Just let it go.
This is before Frozen, right?
This is before Frozen. Yes, I'm sorry. Copyrights.
I'm tracking with you.
Yeah.
Well, as long as
Okay,
you just differentiated, we're good.
In Spanish, was suéltalo tú. Okay, so that way we don't get any copyrights.
There we go.
So anyway, I listened to this sermon, and I listened. I remember the worship song. They started the sermon, the worship service with Psalm 66. I remember, and I remember him preaching this sermon. I'm like, this dude is just talking. He's telling my story about letting things go. That I was. First of all, I was having a tough time forgiving myself for everything that I was doing, and that I was trying to fix things with unhealthy habits. I was trying to solve my life with the drinking or the going out, the clubbing, all this stuff. And after the sermon, it was a Pentecostal church, so there was a lot of screaming and stuff going on. Jumping. And when he did the altar call, I stood up, went there, and I was just crying and I'm shaking, and he started praying for me. And I remember he told the elders of the church that they were also recovered alcoholic. They were kind of like my small group and my peer group and my peer support group, and they helped me grow as a Christian. I remember after a few months, I called my ex-wife at that time, Giselle, and we started talking. We started dating. I was driving from Detroit to Clarksville like once a week to take her on a date, and we started dating. We started talking again. I stopped drinking, and we got remarried. Moved back here. And I got a phone call from somebody from church saying that they're looking for a preacher, and they heard me saying my testimony, and they're looking for a preacher, and they didn't say a pastor. They said looking for a preacher, somebody to preach one day. I'm like, I can do it. I'm not good at it. I've never done it, but I'll do it. So I go to. It's funny because I go to this fellowship hall, and you guys won't believe this. The pastor of the church screamed my name. He's like, "Are you Freddy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." So he threw the keys of the church, like of the church building and gave it to me. He's like, go get them. I'm like, whoa, hold on, go get who? What are you talking about? So I called my pastor in Detroit. I'm like, dude, you need to call this guy and tell him that he's making a mistake. I'm not ready. I can help. I can pick up the offering. I can, give flyers, but I cannot do this. And my pastor told me, he's like, what do you have on your hands right now? I'm like, my cell phone. No. Right next to you. What do you have on your hands? Like, I don't know what you mean. Do you have the Bible that I gave you? Do you have it right there? It's like, I'm like, yeah, it's right here. Use it. And he hung up the phone. I'm like, do you believe this? So I'm preaching. You know where the goat right here?
Yeah.
That was my first church. That was the church that I passed.
Goat?
The Thirsty Goat. That was our building.
Man,
and
you were bringing the living water.
Yeah, I was. I was like,
wait.
They serve something different there now.
Yeah, the Thirsty Goat.
Just a field with a goat in it. What are we talking about?
No, it's just a restaurant. I've never been there.
Place.
It's a pizza place. Mm-hmm. And so our cool ministry. My wife was doing the music. My kids were doing the computer work. Was preaching the word to tobacco workers. It was a really cool thing. And then somehow that ministry went to First Baptist, and that's how we got connected. Okay. But anyway, and I've been doing ministry for 18 years now. I've been sober for 19 years. Praise Jesus for that. But everything started on what skills do I need to break challenging behaviors, to break unhealthy habits, break unhealthy behaviors. And one thing that I realized after I got out of the full-time, well, I never got out of the ministry. I'm still in the ministry. But when I've been doing a lot of social service work for the past 10 years, I realized that there's got to be a better way, because we're helping people. Like, for example, I led a team that in the past 2.5 years, over 1,000 individuals. We found homes for over 1,000 individuals that used to be experiencing homelessness, and that's a great thing that we did. And I'm proud of my team. We did a great job, and we're so impressed. But one thing that I was struggling, Jeff, Josh, Ryan, Rand, is that there's gotta be a way where we are not on the back end. That we should be upstream. We should be helping people not to get to that point. We should be helping parents. And that's when I quit my job at that nonprofit Christian organization. And I decided, Lord, I need to start this thing, because we need to develop the skills that people need to break anchors.
Can you not say the name of that nonprofit? I'm just wondering.
I don't know if I can say it or not.
Can I say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
Yeah, so Freddy was a big dog at, can I say it?
Yeah.
At Salvation Army in Nashville.
Yeah.
In a really tough spot in Nashville. And I actually interviewed there at one
You turned me down. I gave you a good offer.
I turned you down. I needed a little more to commute from Shelbyville. But I really love seeing more of what you did in helping families. Like, it's not just meeting the need today, but it is, okay, how do we work with you to make things right? And that's always been, I think, a character of your ministry, is not just the flash and go, but you're really involved in people relationally, and love seeing that. And I don't mean to sound politically incorrect here. I think part of that is also the Puerto Rican
comes out.
heritage in you, because I think a lot of it is that, or at least some of it, because that's one of the things that I really, it took me a minute to get used to in Puerto Rico, because ladies will kiss you like as soon as they meet you. And that never happened to me anyway.
It's weird.
But you just excel in relationship.
Yeah.
And making people feel at home and feel comfortable. And so I can see how God has used that. So now you've transitioned into a new ministry. You are starting have started a Can I call it a ministry? Or is
Oh
it,
yeah, definitely. It is a ministry.
Okay,
It's
'cause I know it's-
saturated with the word.
Okay.
It is a ministry.
So Freddie started this ministry called Anchors Aweigh Life Coaching, and which we've talked about a little bit, and it's a really unique way that you are meeting people where they are in their need and then helping guide them. Tell us here before we take a break, what is it that led you to see this is the avenue for ministry for me right now, doing Christian-based, Bible-based life coaching?
Well, I mean, and one of the things that I saw is that, when we help somebody move into a house, I saw that people didn't know how to pay the bills. They didn't know how to do a budget. They didn't know fix the thermostat or call for the electric company. And there were some skills that it was needed in order to maintain, not just, I can give you a car, but if I don't teach you how to drive it, that car is going to stay in the garage. And I saw a lot of that. I saw that there was a lot of people struggling with simple stuff. It's simple that you might say is simple. Doing a resume. I'm making $12 an hour. You deserve more. Why you've been doing $12 an hour for 5 years? You deserve more. Let's work on your resume. Let's get your resume. Let's write a better resume. Let's prepare you. Let's teach you how to do interview, because interview is an art. It's not about just the way you look or wearing a nice suit. It's just what you say in an interview. And I start seeing that. Quite frankly, I got tired of just seeing people doing the same thing again and again and again. And I was like, you know what, Lord, I gotta be upstream. I gotta be out there. I cannot keep just jumping in the water rescuing people. I gotta just go out there and figure out who's drawing people in the water, and teach them how to swim. And that's what I got. It was funny because when I talked to the guy that does my branding and my website, he was my youth pastor in Puerto Rico, and you guys know him or remember him. His name is Ricardo, and I sent him my business plan, and he called me. He's like, "You've been talking about this for 10 years. You preached on this. You did a Bible study in this. You had this exactly what your ministry in Puerto Rico was all about." And he was like, he jumped on the opportunity to help us, and it's going great. Love it.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to hear more about Anchors Aweigh and some specifics about where some of the people, where people in general really get caught up in being able to move forward. So thanks for listening to part one. We're glad to have Freddy Valcarcel here with Anchors Aweigh Life Coaching. So stick around. We've got part two coming up. Got some fun things for you. Today's episode of the DudeFax podcast is brought to you by agent Luke Bain of Byers & Harvey Real Estate. Luke has been in real estate for 12 years and specializes in residential and commercial real estate transactions. He loves to see his clients achieve their goals. Whether you're a first-time or experienced buyer, he wants to help you close on that dream home. Or maybe you're an investor, he wants to help you purchase a cash flow positive property. Or if you're a business, he wants to help you find your brick and mortar location. His wife and 2 kids have lived in the Middle Tennessee area for 14 years, and Luke has a great knowledge of the ever-changing market in our area. If you're looking to buy or sell in the near future, or you just have some questions, you can reach Luke Bain via text or phone call at 404-617-4113, or email him at lbain@gmail.com. That's the letter L, BAINE @gmail.com. And I've used Luke for multiple real estate transactions. He is my go-to guy, and he can be yours as well. Make sure to reach out to him today.
Welcome back to part 2 of the DudeFax podcast. We know that you appreciate a good bit of lighthearted, practical joking on this show. So it's with that in mind that we call your attention to something that happened this week in Korea. Don't know if you guys heard about this. North Korea sent balloons carrying excrement and trash over the border into South Korea. This totally beats the Chinese spy balloon saga, I think. And this was in response to a South Korean human rights activist who actually launched balloons a couple of weeks ago, I believe, from South Korea to North Korea that carried anti-North Korean pamphlets, propaganda, and USB flash drives that were filled with South Korean pop culture content. So apparently, because of the response, North Korea clearly shows that they don't like K-pop.
So they just flew over a bunch of K-pop on a thumb drive over to North Korea.
Yeah. So North Korea did. So they vowed. This was the news story I read. They vowed tit for tat action. So in response,
what for what?
Tit for tat. And Kim Yo Jong, the sister of Kim Jong Un, described the poop-filled balloons that they sent over as a genuine gift of sincerity and an act of freedom of expression. More like freedom of excrement, I would say, but yeah.
My thought was that they dislike K-pop that much that they were like, oh, this music is crap. We're going to send you literal crap.
Oh, it's crap.
I was trying to imagine like how they got the excrement in the... I mean, I think it was like bags tied to balloons, but I mean, are they scooping it or are they actually just aiming into a bag?
That ruins it, because I was really hoping they were like putting the poop in the balloons, because you'd have to have like...
That way when they pop, it's like a big like poop umbrella coming down.
What do you think, Freddy?
Yeah, what do you think about North Korea launching?
I don't know. That remind me of Joe Dirt. I don't know. Was it human poop or animal? Do we know?
I actually think it was mostly animal, but you know, South Korea, that the folks there found this, so that I think they just know it's poop. I'm not sure if they know if it's animal or
have
human.
they tested it?
I mean, it's not important. It's just it's poop. Poop is poop. When you sent it,
really a crappy situation.
When you sent me the text, I started reading it because I didn't know about it. I was like, how can that be freedom of speech? I guess that's my question. And I mean, it's just, you see, it's like the way the world is I guess we are afraid to say, you know what, I don't like it, don't do that again. And we just react. We just want to react on a healthy way, and I think that's what happened.
That's definitely an unhealthy way to...
Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't like the USB. You know, just send the USA.
Keep the BTS.
You know, I don't like it. Don't send it. Okay, don't do it again. But okay, you did that. I'm just gonna throw poo up at you. I mean, you just being a child.
You know the old phrase, like, you know, talking out of your butt. Like, so maybe that's like freedom of speech. They were talking out of their butt.
Yeah, because you know the North Koreans are really concerned about free speech.
I mean,
we're all Office fans. How have we not put this together? That it's like the Todd Packard episode, leaving him a gift. It's hilarious.
They always threaten nuclear attacks. This was just another kind of nuclear attack.
I was going to say, is this considered biological warfare?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. I know it's, you shouldn't. Here I am. I'm going not PC again. You're never supposed to praise anything North Korea does, but I gotta give it to them.
I'm kind of mad that they thought of it first.
I mean, what a great comeback. Who's on like the cabinet or whatever that you know what we should do, and that somebody agreed with that, and Kim Jong whatever his name is, was excellent idea.
I'm feeling that's got Dennis Rodman written all over it. He's
been
over there.
We gotta send
giving him ideas.
It does.
Well, it gets me thinking. You're talking about how it's a good idea. If it comes down to us needing to send a balloon over to Canada, what kind of things should we attach to balloons that we send over to the Canadian border? And maybe we should just do it for fun, not a tit for tat reaction.
just
or something, but
just a
Can we send a person?
or tat. Send a person.
Yeah.
Or
if
multiple.
we had a big balloon, we could.
Taylor Swift.
Here she
They
is.
would
You
send
can
her
have
back.
Take her.
Don't cry, Ryan.
No, somebody will tell me that I have a problem with successful women again.
Go too far, cross the line.
Yeah, we've had a little go with some listeners about Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Yeah. About how she's terrible, and they don't think she is. And they're just wrong.
So you know how Canadians, like, they're all about maple syrup, and if it's not maple syrup, they think it's garbage. What if we just sent, like, bags of Aunt Jemima
Mrs.
tied to
Butterworth.
balloons? Yeah.
What, was it still Aunt Jemima, or is it something else now?
That's a good
It's something
question.
else.
Did they rename it?
Well, they took her off.
I know
on it.
they took their for
Yeah, you
face
have
off of it,
you have
but-
a different name. I was
Oh.
yeah. I was at a store the other day, a grocery store, and my wife my wife
thought it was
told me,
Publix.
"Hey, that's the Aunt Jemima." I like, but doesn't say it, and she's like, "Oh no, they rebranded."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that's nice."
I didn't eat it before anyway.
So it'd be a really big slight if we did find some old bottles of Aunt Jemima and send it over to Canada, because they're more PC than us. So
Yeah.
they'd really be mad.
I'll really offend them there.
I think what I would do is just attach just a simple slip of paper, if you can put it in there, and just simply said, "You're basically Americans," and
Yeah.
send that over.
Yeah.
I hear they don't
would-
like that,
They would probably agree.
but they pretty much are. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just
Mounties
thinking,
are
you know how, I mean, when you used to use cash a lot, you'd every once in a while you'd find some Canadian nickels. I mean, if we could just gather all those up and just put those in balloons and just
Send
send
it
them
back.
back.
The
over.
balloons will just fly away. Those things are so
Yeah,
light.
that's
You never-
true.
Yeah.
never see them again.
Apparently,
They felt like play money.
They'll end up in North Korea.
apparently there's something about how there's this joke that Koreans' money looks like Monopoly money. And so, and apparently they really get upset about making fun of their Monopoly money. So there might be something, just maybe send them some. Like, hey, we heard you were short on cash.
Send them
Yeah.
some Monopoly money?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
They'll send over more poop.
This
This is a real news story,
about it.
folks. This is a real news story. So look it up if you don't believe us. You might think it's a joke, but it's not a joke. But speaking of jokes, we have Grant's dad joke back with us.
Ooh.
So Grant, what you got?
There we go. There's my ambiance.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Tell us that joke.
The church council met to discuss the pastor's compensation package
Pack.
for the coming year. After the meeting, the chair of the council told the pastor, "We are very sorry, Pastor, but we decided that we cannot give you a raise next year." "But you must give me a raise," said the pastor. "I am but a poor preacher." And they said, "We know. We hear you every Sunday."
Wow.
Oh, man.
That sounds like a normal church.
That poor pastor. Hopefully they weren't sending balloons over to his house.
How did we
Yeah.
also miss the pun that it was a bowalistic mistle?
No, man.
Come on, guys.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
That is
We need to
good.
do better.
Hey, why don't you guys comment, listeners, of what they should call that kind of attack? And speaking of comments, it's time.
It's time for comments.
All right. So last week, Jeff and I talked with Jeff's sister Amber about Hunt Brothers Pizza and the good work that they're doing, and what a great company they are, and their kind of their beliefs and the way they operate. And we posted some clips of that on social media, and we got a response from Hunt Brothers Pizza on Instagram. And they said, "This is awesome. We appreciate you." Which think Josh tried to get a sponsorship.
Yeah, I tried.
In there.
Surprisingly enough, they have not replied to me on
No,
Twitter.
I saw that and they're like, yeah, we're done.
Or Instagram, whatever it was.
Well, then also in regards to the pizza, which we just ate some here tonight, which was delicious. Not Hunt Brothers, but
yeah, don't tell them.
we won't say who it was.
The DudeFax
we'll
did not
make sure we're
purchase the
only
pizza.
giving Hunt Brothers the
Yeah,
But we do appreciate the
love.
pizza.
Yeah, we always appreciate pizza.
yeah.
I'm like warming up at 2 a.m. with a sweaty hunk.
I'm usually that sweaty hunk at 2.
I can't handle you guys.
You had no idea.
I didn't.
And then also talking about pizza, Sand and Coffee replied, we had some pizza ideas for Hunt Brothers, and Sand and Coffee replied with, I would 100% eat a biscuits and gravy pizza. They could call it the Taste the Biscuit DudeFax special.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That's
I'm thinking this got to happen.
really good.
Oh, yeah.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Honestly, that's a great idea. A breakfast like biscuit and gravy pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, the dough is the biscuit.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got gravy, and some
Sausage.
sausage in that, some cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Get on it, Hunt.
Yep.
Delicious.
Let's do it.
I love
Delicious.
Southerners.
We have already trademarked the name, though. Shh, let's pretend.
All you have to do is say it, right?
Yeah,
To
that's right.
actually trademark.
Hey, that's ours.
You're just like, hey, trademark. It's like a verbal agreement.
Okay.
Hey, Kev's Got You Covered has a little trademark logo now on his bios.
Oh,
does
really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Interesting.
He needs to update his billboard in Nashville. Or the one
We might get sued for that.
here in Clarksville.
That's
Does
horrible.
Harley want to be on
Sorry.
the podcast?
No, I heard a dog barking outside, so it might be a minute before he calms down.
Well, our other comment I wanted to highlight. So I don't know. We put out a social media post, but I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast about Coldstream
Yeah.
and kind of an update on them. I think the update was they got another offer for insurance, and are things going good? I don't know the full story behind the updates, but I guess they kind of came through for them. They were able to make it through to get insurance so they could operate this summer.
Yeah, I talked to them on Sunday and or some point last week, and he said, the quote, they got a quote that came in at 10,000, and he had told us all they had gotten was 30. But this new quote also incorporates the lake, so any water activities, and so it's it's just a huge blessing that they're able to find it for that, which means camp can roll on as they
Praise
had planned.
God.
So thank you
Awesome.
guys for praying about that and being an encouragement to them. They were really, the whole group there was really thankful for everybody jumping in on that.
Yeah, and Roger Dunn said on our Instagram comments, said thank you everyone for the prayers, everyone. Thank you for the DudeFax podcast for helping spread the word.
Yeah.
So we're glad that we could be of some service, and hopefully, everybody's prayers and helping out, looking out for them.
Yeah, and he invited
continues.
us to record episode on site out there at
Oh,
some
yeah.
point. So
We should
hopefully,
fish while we're recording.
I like it.
There's a picture that pops up in my like Facebook timeline every now and then. It's like a picture of you dangling over a ravine, like with your like leg in something. Like there was like a rope or something that was like going across this like ravine. We probably shouldn't do
that
that
there?
because it's dangerous. Yeah, it was there.
Okay.
That was the rope bridge, what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Was it?
I think, yeah,
It was
he
that
said
bridge.
somebody got hurt on that, and that's why.
Yeah.
And if you wonder why their insurance is so high, who started that?
Sorry.
Sorry, Roger.
My bad.
No cave baths there?
I'm sure we could find one.
We do have maybe. There's a lot of
We can
sinkholes.
create one. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it for the
awesome.
comments.
Awesome. Some good comments.
Yeah.
Not all of them were silly, so they were good this time. So we are glad to have Freddy V with us. We were just talking in the first segment about some of our great memories of going to Puerto Rico, and I'm going to just quickly revisit a memory so that we can get into a game that I want us to play today.
Is it this memory right here?
Ooh, look at that.
That's the shirt.
That is not
That's
the memory.
in Puerto Rico.
Love the curl.
Wait,
Man.
Wait, go back. Look what I was
You
holding.
look like a 12-year-old girl on that.
Is that a BlackBerry you're holding?
That was a BlackBerry, probably on our little BlackBerry texter.
Yeah, we were DudeFaxing.
Oh yeah, that is an old BlackBerry. There was some DudeFaxing that occurred with that BlackBerry. There's
that
some
picture
history
needs to
right
make
there.
it on like a throwback month on your calendar next year.
Yeah, that needs to be on.
Make sure to
12
send,
months of Grant.
Make
or
sure to
whatever.
send a copy of that calendar to Freddy from to put up in his office.
Man, I'm so tan.
But yeah, the memory I'm referring to is the time, Freddie, that you took myself, Josh, over to a barbecue, and they cooked so much food, and we had to eat it all. And Josh and I ate so much that we were like balloons that were about to fly over to another country. And I remember there being a picture of Josh just like sweating, and he just looked absolutely miserable.
Yeah, the shirt was too tight to begin with, and it was really too tight.
That was awesome.
I'm probably still digesting some of that meat.
Yeah.
That was a great night.
Well, you told us going in, you're like, okay, this is how we do it here. You've got to eat like 2 helpings or something like that, 2 to 3 helpings of each portion of the meal.
But I did say to you guys, pace yourself. I remember saying you gotta pace yourself.
I didn't take that to
You
heart.
gotta spread because I knew they were gonna come in waves.
Well, I think
they're
about-
just coming and
They
coming.
did.
We had been there like 4 hours, and around midnight or so, they're coming out with more raw meat.
I'm like, stop cooking, man. But yeah, it was
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
But so we love some good Puerto Rican cuisine, and of course we went and we got the black banana and all those fun things.
I love the black banana. That's delicious.
That's not technically a banana, I found out.
Yeah. If you go, don't expect a banana. But I think we can all agree mofongo was one of the key highlights. And so in honor of Freddie being here, I wanted to play a game today called Mofongo or Mofong No.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do, and this real quick for you listeners that don't know about mofongo. Mofongo is a Puerto Rican dish. It's made with mashed plantains, garlic, olive oil, and there's often like pork and chicken and beef, vegetables thrown into it, and it's just delicious.
It's delicious like my pickle.
Yes.
Here's my pickle, Freddy.
Oh, that's nice.
That's delicious.
You can put your pickle in it. But that's actually kind of what I want us to do. I'm going to read off some random things that one might try to do with mofongo.
Okay.
And this is for everybody, perhaps a new recipe. And I want you guys to tell me if you would try it or not. And you're going to tell me by saying mofongo, which means yes, I would try that. Or mofong no, that's disgusting. Heck no. So I'm going to read off some, and maybe after that we can dream up some new mofongo recipes.
Ooh, yeah.
And maybe some of these already exist, and Freddie, you can tell us. So, what about a Nashville hot chicken mofongo?
I can see it.
Mofongo.
I can dig that. Yeah,
Mofongo.
for sure.
Mofongo, yeah.
But the hot sauce would be like a good addition
Oh, yeah.
flavor wise.
Be tasty.
Delicious.
All right. So that was a tame, easy one.
Uh-huh.
Let's start changing it up a little bit. What about frog legs mofongo?
Oh,
Mofong no.
buffalo, no. No.
I've never had frog legs, so
I have, and I actually really like them, so I'd probably say mofunk.
What do they taste like? Chicken? Or frog legs?
Yeah, I mean, the chicken hands. It's just it's like any sort of
I'd
white meat type meat.
I'd try it. I'll go mofongo. I'll try it.
So 2 mofong no's, 2 mofong goes. And I would say mofongo, I guess. I'd probably try it too. Grant, you were quick to say mofong no. Why?
Because I don't live in the South.
Yeah, but you're always trying to kill animals.
He needs a vegan
That's true.
option.
Vegan option. Well, we could do that. All right. What about a dessert? What about a mofongo cheesecake?
Mofong maybe.
I don't know. You're mixing flavors. I don't know.
Yeah, the plantains with the
like a dessert with garlic on it, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
I'd say
It's
no.
salty enough that could work.
I think it's one of those situations where you say mofongo good, cheesecake good,
Together.
mofongo cheesecake nasty crap.
I would take cheesecake with like fried plantains on top, like crushed over the top. That'd be good.
Okay, now that
Yeah.
that
I don't know.
What would you call that? Just a plantain cheesecake?
I guess.
She's staying.
Ooh.
Cheese
well,
steak.
what are they? What's the name for the plantain chips?
Tostones?
Tostones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be a
Oh, yeah, yeah.
tostones.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do like that idea.
Yeah.
That
Just don't have cheesecake.
maybe that's a new
Yeah.
recipe.
I just had a sandwich, a Tostone sandwich in Chicago like a couple days ago.
Oh, that sounds
It's good.
amazing.
So what's on a tostone sandwich?
Two, obviously Tostones. Instead of bread, it's Tostones. And I have mine with chicken.
So is it a big
Yeah, it's like a
Tostone?
big yeah.
tostone?
Yeah, a big, the whole plantain, I guess they fry it, cut it in half.
Ooh.
And it was with chicken, and they have mayonnaise on it.
Sounds
and-
good. Hey, there's a
Ketchup.
legit Puerto Rican place here that does tripleta. But it's not Devo's.
Yeah, he
It's
sent me
not.
pictures. Every time he goes there, he sent me pictures. Hey, I'm getting this. I'm like,
It doesn't quite match up. Yeah. All right. What about? So there's so many flavors of this. What about Mofongo Mountain Dew?
I don't know.
Dude,
It's-
soda sommelier.
Yeah, we'd have to try it.
Oh man.
Mofongo for Ryan.
What about with coffee?
Mofongo
A coffee flavored mofongo?
Yeah.
Or a mofongo flavored
essence of Puerto Rico.
No, like Dunkin' Donuts flavored coffee, but it's like they use
Mofongo.
mofongo
coffee. Yeah,
flavor.
I'd go for that.
I mean, we can
I'd
try
mofongo
it.
that.
Interesting.
That'd be Mofongo.
Yeah.
I bet you know somebody that could
Mofongo.
make that for us.
I'm pretty sure somebody in Puerto Rico, they do that. You know, when you send that text about, I started looking at stuff, and there's actually a restaurant in Puerto Rico where they do a mofongo pizza. Inside a pizza.
Oh, that was actually my next.
Okay.
one.
Gotcha.
So there
Oh,
is a
it's still just
mofongo
still on
pizza.
there. Yeah, there is. There
So
is.
one we can actually try.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Well, what are you picturing when you say mofongo pizza?
I mean, just Mofongo on pizza.
So it's cheese, it's red sauce.
Yeah, sure.
It's the way I
mofongo.
saw it, and remember, I just saw a picture. It's kind of like the dough of the pizza was the mofongo, and they just do it a little bit flat, and then they just put the stuff on it with the cheese.
Ooh.
If Josh is eating
It
it,
looks
probably have
good,
pineapple
though.
on it
It
too.
had pineapple on
Oh
it.
no, I can't. I'm allergic to it.
Would you have pineapple on your pizza if you could?
No, you know
you
what?
could.
You know that's one. You know, is the Lord allowed me to ask questions, and that's gonna be one of my complaints. Lord, I mean, the pineapple. I come from an island. I come from an island. They have pineapple in every corner. I mean, people are selling pineapples on the street lights.
It's the island that pina coladas were invented on.
And I'm like, man, it looks so good. And I see people eating. One time I was like staring at, and I said, I'm sorry, I got allergic, and I was just
It's been part of
enjoying the moment.
Living vicariously.
Imagining what it might taste like.
Yeah, I know.
this has been part of your
Are you
sanctification.
allergic?
So what?
Are you really allergic to pineapple?
I am allergic to pineapple. Yeah, unfortunately.
That's sad.
That's a bummer. That's one of my favorite foods.
I'm so sorry.
favorite
Or not on
fruit.
pizza.
Caramba.
But not on pizza.
Well, just to answer the question, I would mofongo both of those pizza options.
I'm fungo.
I definitely Mofongo pizza. I'd try.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so last one. What about Mofongo flavored Altoids? Freshen your breath.
It won't work.
That's like when they freshen
they're
your
gonna-
breath. I think those
It
are the
got,
opposite.
it got garlic on it.
I don't think it'll even cancel out. I just think it's gonna, the garlic's gonna override.
Oh man.
Small white and unusually weird.
Yeah.
What about mofongo with fried rice?
Mofongo
Yes.
with fried rice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That'd probably be a
Yes.
good combo.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing.
That's the
Yeah.
Chinese mofongo.
I'm pretty sure.
So you said you were.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you said you were looking up some recipes.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried any interesting mofongo combinations or know of any?
Now you guys gonna be mad at us. We don't we don't cook that much Puerto Rican food at the house.
But when you
We-
do,
we-
you send me pictures of it.
But we had, and I wasn't like we went to Chicago this past weekend because I wanted to go to the largest Starbucks in the world. That was on my bucket
Michigan
list.
Ave.
And we went there, and I had a blast. Well, I had a panic attack first, but then I had a blast.
Did you see Moody?
Who?
Did you see Moody Bible Institute where I used to live?
No, man. I'm
You were right next to it.
I'm Southern Baptist.
He's too busy going to Starbucks.
It's like Starbucks is like 5 blocks away.
No, we I'm from Liberty University. We don't go to Moody. But anyway, anyhow, so
Yeah, you have to be literate. I get it.
I got it.
Oh, man.
Tense rivalry.
Yeah, we did went to a bowl
Greg
game
Moore.
and play Oregon. I don't know if you guys were there.
Where?
So anyway, I like.
How did that turn out?
Yeah, I know we scored a touchdown.
Dumb.
So I saw this place for like a seafood, all you can eat stuff in Chicago. Like, let's go there. And my wife like, oh, I saw a Puerto Rican restaurant in downtown Chicago. Why don't we try that? I'm like, no. And she's like, they had this plantain sandwich. I'm like, you really want to go there? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let's go there. But I mean, it was fun. And you, I guess people from Puerto Rico, they just like to, they run out of ideas, so they just start coming up with new stuff and mixing stuff, and the mofongo, and then they had the trifongo and the dufongo. I mean, they have all kind of stuff that is just like, it's crazy. They had the yuca mofongo. I mean, it's just like they keep just getting variation of the same thing.
Sounds awesome.
I was like, can I visit the restaurant?
Sounds like a lot of fungo.
I can't handle it.
I heard you
60%
visit.
of the time, it works every time.
I love that line.
I hear that you did visit the world's largest Starbucks there.
did.
You have to take out a loan or anything?
When you guys been there? Anybody?
Yes.
To the world's largest Starbucks?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's right on Michigan Ave.
Yeah. So you guys know I have anxiety issues. I guess a lot of issues. But anyway, so I'm going to the escalator, and it's like a sea of people. I mean, it's like a sea of people, and it's place is big, but it's not huge. And I just going up the escalator, I have a panic attack. I'm like, oh my goodness, was a bad idea. But anyway, and you keep going up, there's like 4 floors. And so I pay for my coffee, I pay for a drink for my wife, and then we got some souvenirs, because you gotta get souvenirs. And then and the lady said $260. I'm like, what? And I told my wife, what do you order? And
She got something bigger than a venti.
I'm like, what is this?
Did she buy the franchise?
Yeah, I'm like, I never in my. So
just a
I was
grande
trying
white
to pay with my
chocolate
app, but my app didn't have that much money on it. I never, it was like, but it was on my bucket list. I'm trying to visit a Starbucks in each state, and that's on my list. So that's one of the reasons I'm going to Seattle next year. Go out there to their stuff. So, but it was fun. It was fun.
Well, we'll be praying for your goal there to be accomplished. Wow.
Just no mofongo coffee.
Mofongo coffee. I think I'd try it. I'll try. Well, you know what? Why don't you guys? Let's call Giselle. Let's call my wife. See, she's willing to do it. I'm
Brew
pretty
some
sure
up.
she's willing to do it.
I think we can.
Yeah, for the
Don't ship me
DudeFax.
any.
We can do it live. We can do a live record cooking.
I think this
mofongo.
needs to happen.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Grant?
Don't ship me any.
Okay.
Ship.
Yes.
P. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought I was always praying. You don't know this, Grant, but I always praying for Grant to. But I know you're married and my daughter is married, but I was always praying for. Like, man, he'd be perfect for choral. I was like, that'd be a powerful ministry, and but the Lord didn't answer that one.
Hey, Freddy, there was one time that Giselle
Okay, stop
was
it.
trying to hint at it.
What were you gonna say?
This one time in Puerto Rico.
No, Giselle was like hinting at it. Like, hey, Grant, like
She was.
she'd be great. She was. And you came around the corner hearing that, and you're like, you don't want any of that. That's what you said.
It's funny. Goes Coral. Her husband is a really good guy. Anyway, her husband. They're 4 siblings, and 3 of them marry Puerto Rican people. And the funny thing is, they're in Kansas. I'm like, we're everywhere. There's mofongo everywhere. It's everywhere.
In the plains of Kansas.
That may be all the Puerto Ricans in Kansas. Part of your family.
So
Might be
that's
the
like-
only people in Kansas. Besides Dorothy.
I
Hey,
did
Freddie,
want to
did you
say.
go to Humboldt Park in Chicago?
So what?
There's a neighborhood called Humboldt Park, and it's where all the Puerto Ricans live, and it's amazing.
Maybe that's where we were, but I don't know. I was just following GPS.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was my first time in Chicago too, so it was kind of like, yeah.
Because
You
Liberty's
guys,
in a cornfield.
yeah, you guys gonna love this. We stay in an Airbnb, but it was a caboose.
Oh, cool.
Fun.
So yeah, that was pretty.
That is pretty cool.
I was just going to say that. So a coworker of mine went to Puerto Rico for the first time earlier this year, and I told him, I was like, "Oh man, when you go," so he was asking for food recommendations because I've been there. I told him to try mofongo, and I told him, I was like, "There's plenty of restaurants that do it." I was like, you can go like in Old San Juan, there'll be plenty. And then they tried it when they first got there, and then he immediately texted me and said, "That was amazing. Give me all your other recommendations."
Yes.
I told him I was like, go try tripleta, get cafe con leche. Like I was just telling him everything.
How many tripletas did you eat one day? Like,
Oh my gosh, like
2 or 3.
copious amounts.
How many are there?
I was like, I know he kept eating, and I'm like,
I was like, because I had like my own whole sandwich, and then had like half of somebody else's, and like half of somebody else's cereal. I was just like eating up everybody's scraps. And I remember our bus driver; he was just amazed with how much I'd eaten, and I felt it later on that day. So.
Well, we know you're feeling the love, and we're feeling the love here, and we're going to continue right after this. Part 3, more with Freddy. We're excited to get more into his story and what he's up to. So thanks for sticking with us.
Anchors Aweigh Life Coaching provides the tools to identify and break free from the obstacles that hinder you from fulfilling God's purpose in your life. We guide you through professional, personal, and spiritual challenges. So please join us for an inspiring open house. This is your chance to discover the power of life coaching, meet the coach, experience interactive activities, and enjoy refreshments and connect with others. Join us Saturday, June 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Guadalajara Mexican Grill, 262 Village Square, Pleasant View, Tennessee, 37146.
We're talking about it.
Yeah.
Straight out of the Caribbean.
See,
Jack Sparrow ain't seen this. And the
Tijuana.
Barbosa. The coconut crystal.
hey, Daddy Yankee gave his life to Jesus.
This is him.
Oh yeah,
oh, you guys want to hear something funny about Daddy Yankee?
yeah,
He retired, and now he's a Christian rapper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I was stoked.
Does he ever tour with those rapping clowns that we saw?
I remember that.
That was the strangest thing.
Actually, Freddie, you're talking to a bunch of white dudes. So I've never thought Daddy was inappropriate because I had no idea what he was saying.
Daddy?
Daddy Yankee.
Oh, Daddy.
Like, yeah, gasolina, love it. I like
yeah.
gasoline in my car. That's great.
What was that song he did with Justin Bieber several years
Despacito.
ago? Yeah, Despacito.
Despacito.
Or my wife was working in Nashville at the time, and she had one of her coworkers was from
Despacito.
Mexico.
Okay.
And they were listening to the song that was playing in the she was like listening to the Spanish and was like, we should not be playing this song.
Yeah, you have to take a shower after you. It's just.
Well, speaking of things that
Unless
hold
you're
people back
ignorant, then
spiritually,
Good transition.
thank you. We are here again with Freddy Valcarcel, our good friend. And Freddy, you shared a little bit in part one, this new venture that God has led you to. You've started a ministry called Aweigh Life Coaching, and that your heart in that is really not just getting people to one spot and then leaving, but you talked about they're in the water. Okay, how do I not just pull you out? How do I teach you to swim?
That's right.
Given life skills and things like that. So what does that kind of look like then within the ministry of Anchors Aweigh? And what are some of those things that you see maybe that people struggle with that might hold them back in moving forward?
Okay, well, I call it the Anchors Aweigh Life Coaching math. This is my equation. It's just
Is this like Common Core math?
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to understand this?
So the anchor, and what the anchor is an obstacle. It's something that is holding you back. It's holding you down. Doesn't let you move free. That's what anchor is. Anchors are used obviously to stop the ship from moving, but also good sailors use it to slow the ship down. So that's what an anchor is. It's holding us down. It's stopping us from accomplishing what God is calling us in our life. So you had the anchor plus not having the proper skill to deal with it equals a challenging behavior or unhealthy behavior. Let me give you an example. Well, on this side of the table, we had teenagers' daughters. So there was a time there was teenager daughters. Now they're out of the house. Praise the Lord. My 3-year-olds are gone. But imagine this. Picture this. You're at home, and your teenager daughter or your teenager son come home, and you say, "Hey, how was your day?" They don't answer at all. They just go straight to the room and they slam the door. Now, you might be like me. They get mad. In my house, you don't slam doors. But the slamming of the door, that's not the problem. That's not the problem. That's the reaction to the problem. Something happened at school. Something happened on the bus drive. Something happened between when she left or he left in the morning to the time they come home, and he or she doesn't know how to deal with that. So they react slamming the door. That's, for example, a person lost their job and they start drinking. Or commit adultery, or they start popping pills. I mean, all these unhealthy behaviors is our reaction to something happened, and we don't have the skills to deal with it. And that's where we come in. We have to understand that every, and this is my belief. My belief is that every bad and unhealthy or challenging behavior, however you want to put it, is the direct result of a skill that hasn't been developed yet. On the scripture, Paul tell us about get rid of all the bitterness and rage and anger and harsh word and be kind to each other. But how do we do that? I mean, it's easier said than done. And some people just don't know how to deal with it. As Christians, and I hear this a lot. That people are struggling with forgiving each other. Somebody did something to me a long time ago. How can I forget that person? I was 6 years old when my grandmother passed away. And if you told that, and you guys met my mom, that she was a good cook, my grandmother was way better cook than her. And my grandmother was ran over by a motorcycle driver coming out of the grocery store, and she was standing on the sidewalk. And the guy on the motorcycle was high and drunk, got on the sidewalk and struck her. She died instantly. And people ask me, well, can you forgive that person? Well, you have to define what forgiveness is. I think the reason why people don't forgive each other or somebody else is because we think when we forgive somebody, we're saying, it's okay what you did to me, so I forgive you. That's not what it is. When you're forgiving somebody, you acknowledging you hurt me. It was painful what you did to me, but I'm relieving you. You no longer have power over my feelings. I'm not gonna stop going to a store because you work there because you hurt me. I'm gonna forgive you. I still got the scarf, Okay, still there, but you don't have power over me. And once you realize that it's not about what happened, but how we view things. How do you view things? How do you view the issue? How do you feel about it? And what you're going to do about it will demonstrate the results. You know, when we forget someone, the memory of the incident or the situation remains, but the pain is no longer controlling your emotions. You know, it doesn't matter what you did to me and my family. You no longer have control of me. You know, some people said, you know, it's not about living rent-free in your brain or your mind or in your head. But when you are holding to this, I'm not going to forgive you, it's holding you back. It's holding you back. A few months ago, I went on a cruise, and it wasn't planned. We just, I was really exhausted. It's been a long 2 years without almost sleeping and resting. And we decided, my wife and I, let's just take a cruise. And one time, in one of the ports, we were following the icon of the seas. I guess we were in the same fleet or something you want to call it. And the icon of the seas is a massive ship, and it took the whole pier. So we had to anchor in the middle of the bay. So when I was in the Marine Corps, we used to do that all the time. So I was kind of used to it. But my wife was like, we went to sleep one night and then woke up in the morning. She's like, "Oh my goodness, the ship is moving. It's weird, facing the other way." And I say, "No, that's called the anchor swinging circle. Is when the ship is anchored, it goes around. And so the good sailor, they had to measure, say, okay, how far they're gonna go so I can anchor another ship. And that happened to us. When we don't forgive people, we're anchoring ourselves and we keep going in circles, expecting a different result, but we keep going in circles because we're still holding to that feeling of, I'm not gonna forgive you. Or I'm not going to forgive myself because I hurt so many people. I destroyed so many lives. I was a bad person. I was a bad father, bad mother, bad. Whatever happened in the past is in the past. You cannot do Control Alt Delete in your life. You cannot use liquid paper for those people in my age group. You know, you cannot use liquid paper white out. You can't. Or correction tape or whatever. You cannot do that. Whatever happened in the past, you had to let it go. You had to break free from the anchor. Forgive yourself. Forgive somebody so you can move forward. Does it make sense?
Freddy. Oh, totally. But Freddy, do you know how to tell if a youth pastor has been on a computer?
How?
There's whiteout on the screen.
I love it.
I knew you would.
So we actually talked about forgiveness a few weeks ago, or maybe even more than that, and you mentioning that it's kind of releasing that person from the hold that you're allowing them to have on you, and it's such a great point to be made because we often think we're punishing them, so we're punishing ourselves. So if you're working with somebody in your ministry and you see that is really where they're struggling, really what their anchor is, how do you help them, one, identify that and then move towards taking steps to forgive?
Well, we use something called North, and the N stands for navigate. In order to accomplish to accomplish God's call in your life, you have to keep moving. You had to move. You had the Lord say, "Go, make disciples." He didn't say no, just stay. He say go. So the end for North is navigate. We have to keep moving. We got to find a way to keep moving. So when I have somebody that is attached to an anchor, that's the first thing. Okay, what do we have to do to keep moving? To keep moving forward? What is stopping you from taking a step forward? Okay, I know you're hurt. But how can we move forward? And then we go with the objectives. What do you want to do? Okay, so my objective is to become a better father, or to become a youth pastor, or to get promoted. I mean, I hear that a lot. I'm stuck in this position, and every interview I go to the interview, I feel good, but somebody always take it. Okay, so promote it. So we go to recognize what are the anchors. Maybe the anchors is you're not good on an interview process. The anchors is like you keep holding to the past, and that's why you cannot do what you need to do because you keep reminding yourself of what happened in the past. So you got the N for navigate, the O for objectives, the R for recognize, the anchors. And the T is the most important, is teaching yourself a new skill. I think I had a say when I was the director of social services, say to my staff, learn something new every day. Learn something new every day. Every day you should come here and you should learn something new. Because when you're learning, when you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you stop moving. So every day we should learn something new. It might be small, it might be big. So you got to navigate, you got the objectives, to recognize, to teach. And the H is you got to hit the mark. Okay? If we follow this process, we're going to hit the mark. Now, easier to say is easier to say that than done, Freddy. But it's all take baby step. Is remember, when we're talking about forgiveness, I'm going to give you 3 steps on forgiveness. How can you cut the anger? How can you break free from the anger of forgiveness? Number 1 is it's not about what they did to you, but what he did for you. See, we have to change the way we think. It's not what somebody did to me, but what he did for me. And when we start thinking that way, it's like when you see somebody that is always, hey, that movie was great. Oh, yeah, but it was too long. Oh, I like that suit. Oh, yeah, but it's not my size. There's always something negative. Have you met somebody like that? Mm-hmm. That is always, you find something negative. I'm like, dude, just be happy for 5 seconds.
I think that might be me for these guys. I'm not
This
sure.
is like, just be happy. Just be happy for a second. Just enjoy the moment. And that's something that we forgot. In 2024, we forgot to enjoy the moment. We had to take a step and take 10 seconds and just enjoy a sunset or a sunrise or a Starbucks coffee or friendship. Mm-hmm. So it's not about what they did to you, what he did for you. Number 2 is obey and trust the result. God say forgive each other. That's a command. He say forgive each other. So obey and trust the result. Just obey and trust the results. And the last one is be useful. What does that mean? Well, when we forgive somebody, we are showing God's grace. And we are showing people that no matter what happened, God is in control. And no matter how big or small the problem is, God will take care of it. So everything starts how we view things, how we view it. Okay, I remember one time, Derek, my youngest son, Derek, he wasn't talking, and Derek is likes to talk. He wasn't talking, and I was like pulling all my trick from counselor and psychology. I was pulling on everything. Okay, I was doing this technique, I was doing that thing, and I couldn't get it to talk. Finally, we were in a traffic light, and I said, Derek, roll down the window. Like, it's cold, Dad. Why? Roll down the window. But it's cold, Dad. I say, listen to your father. Please roll down the window. So he rolled down the window. We were in a traffic light. And I say, okay, scream. He's like, what? Just scream. And he starts screaming. And at the end of the scream, he said, I can't believe she broke up with me. I'm like, boom, got it. Now we can talk about it. So it's all about how you view it. Tell me how you view it. Okay, you have a problem. You have a situation. How you viewing it? Okay? Is it never going to happen? I don't know. I always fail at this. I'm not good at it. But that's the way you're viewing it. You're viewing it in a negative way. How do you feel about it? Do you feel like you can change? Do you feel like you can learn something? And what are you going to do about it? Is you learn something. If I teach you a skill, will you be able to get to where you need to go? And that's hit the table again. Sorry, Judge.
That's all right. We'll forgive you.
And that's what breaking free from anchors is all about.
Do y'all have any questions that you want to pose to him?
I was actually, so you were talking about the folks that you talked to. Do you feel like there's a certain generation that's more open to life coaching than others? And are you seeing specifically maybe the younger, maybe millennials, Generation Z, Gen Z coming up, like being more open to it? Because it seems like this isn't something that, older generations grew up with, but something that is definitely, more prominent now.
Well, I think it's the way it's the way you view it. I think people my age group, they see it as a mentor. And when you come as a mentor, they're very, very open. I'm having more, I don't want to say I have a tough time, but just young people that you give them an advice and then they just totally the opposite. And that's why I struggle, because I care so much about people when I see somebody that I know. If you continue this route, I remember telling this young lady, I say, if you continue this route, you're going to hit a wall. I guarantee you. And she's like, no, I'm fine. 3 months later, she was in my office crying. I had a tissue box on my desk, and she was like, can you open the drawer and get the tissues? Because I'm about to start crying. And she's like, you're going to say, told you so? I'm like, no, because that's not what I do. I don't say I told you so. I say, okay, well, let's pick up the pieces and let's figure out how we're going to go from here. Because remember, every new beginning has a starting point. Every new beginning has a starting point. And it can be today, it can be tomorrow, it can be next week. We just got to hit play so we can start over again.
I think the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
Man, that's really wise.
Just thought of it.
Maybe we should put that on a shirt.
Is that a fortune cookie?
I think what you're doing is great, because so many people, I believe, especially in Christian life, church circles, view or maybe have this view of, man, going to a counselor or a coach, whatever it is, that's just a sign I don't have it together, and all these other Christians do. And I know even all of us have spent time in the inner circle of churches and on church staff, and that's kind of, there's almost this negative if you hear of a pastor that is seeing a counselor or whatever. But we all need it, and I actually appreciate the pastor that does that regularly and sees and just talks things out. But I think people might have a hesitation to start because there's a stigma tied to some of that. What would you say to that person?
Well, I just want to say, first of all, that when I was full-time in the ministry, when I was pastoring a church, I have like 5 different coaches or mentors that I used to talk on a regular basis, and 2 of them are right here, Jeff and Josh. I used to communicate with them when I was struggling with something. And I had, Dr. Larry Robertson, when it was something about theology, that I have a question, I was stuck in a passage, I used to call him. When I was just talking about leadership, I used to call my pastor in Detroit, because you gotta surround yourself with mentors, with people that are wiser than you, that can see it. Because sometimes we're so close to the tree that we don't see the forest. So you gotta come up with somebody who's helping you. Say, you know what? I don't know about that. One time I had a great idea when I was pastoring that church in Puerto Rico. The whole building was for sale. I'm like, okay, well, if we can get the money, we can buy it, we can have we can rent it, and we can, the income from renting that spot, is gonna cover it. So I called one of my mentors, and he said, that's the most stupid idea I heard in my life. And I'm like, whoa, you just blew up my tires. He's like, dude, you are there to preach, to shepherd people. You're not there to be a landlord. And I realized you're right. You're right. But I was like, gung ho an idea. If I would be for me, I'd be like stuck, being a landlord. And so, you had to understand that it's okay not being okay. You have to understand that. Everybody struggled. I mean, if you look at the great heroes of the scripture, Paul struggled with some stuff, David struggled with some stuff. You see it. You see it all the time. we preacher, we pastor, we church leaders, that everybody, you know what, in this side of heaven, we will struggle with something. And if we don't talk about it, if we don't see somebody, we are going to stay on that circle, on that anchor swinging circle, and just trying to come out. But we try. But remember, you're trying what you know. You try what you know. You okay, this is the way I handle this thing. So, and it doesn't work, I'm gonna try it again, and then I'm gonna try it again, and then I'm gonna try it again. But it's just not working. You have to try a different way. But it's how you're gonna do it, you don't know. So it's all about being vulnerable and accepting. Hey, you know what? I need an opinion. I need somebody to help me come out of the other side.
So if all you have is a hammer, everything's a nail. And a lot of guys are running around.
That's the problem.
Just hammer.
That's the mentality.
Yeah.
So if there's someone listening and they're really resonating with this and they think I need this kind of conversation, how can they get in touch? So I mean, you're located in Middle Tennessee area. So if a listener is in this area, how do they get in touch with Anchors Aweigh?
Okay, first of all, I go to your place of business. If you're a manager, you're the owner of business, I go there, help you with the entire team. I do that. If you're a pastor of church, I go there and help you with the entire team. And that's the word I use. I help you. And also I do sessions online all the time. And I know my office manager going to be mad at me, but because you guys are so wonderful, 2 people that, I don't know, answer Jeff question about the mofongo or something, I'm going to give them 2 sessions for free for 2 different people. So, Jeff, you I don't know how you're going to do the mofongo contest, but
we'll do that. We'll figure something out.
That's
awesome.
But
thank you, Freddy.
Oh no, that's my pleasure. That's, like I say, it's a ministry. But you can reach me at my phone number is 615. Pause. People are driving. Don't 615-870-2212. That's 615-870-2212. I'm pretty sure the guy's gonna put it on the chat or somewhere. Also, my website is www.anchorsaweighlive.com. Anchorsaweighlive.com. Aweigh is spelled Aweigh. It's not a misspell.
Yeah, I was surprised to find out it's not Aweigh.
No, it's like I say, it's a Navy term. Anchors Aweigh is a Navy term, and that's when the anchor just cleared the bottom of the sea and the ship is moving. That's actually also the name of the Navy song, anthem, hymn.
That's right. It is.
Yeah. For our listeners' benefit, Freddy was in a department of the Navy.
I was in the Marine Corps Department of the Navy. Yes. I accept that. I actually won the Navy Achievement Medal. So
wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, because I was a hero.
Hey, shout out to all the seamen in the world.
The truck.
You have a great name.
So one last thing here before we wrap up. You guys have an open house.
We do, and it's funny because everybody said, "Well, you have a building that you're doing an open house." It's not. It's just we want to show our appreciation to our clients and our friends, and our. We're gonna go there on June 15 from 5 to 7. You guys are invited.
That's my birthday.
Yeah, June 15.
It's for your birthday. You should come.
And it's at the Guadalajara restaurant.
Guadalajara?
Yeah, it's 262 Village Square, Pleasant View. Guadalajara restaurant from 5 to 7. June 15. Hope to see you guys there. We're going to be talking about coaching. People that don't know me going to get to meet me. We're going to do some activities, and there's going to be food.
Okay. I might be free.
Yes, there's going to be food.
I had plans, but I'm not.
No, I really want to see you guys out there. We got some shirts giveaway for T-shirts and all the stuff all the swag that we're going to have there.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, Freddie, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. We're real excited about what God's doing in you and through you, and to see kind of how this ministry grows and develops. It's definitely needed. So Freddie is going to give away 2 hours of free coaching to 2 different individuals, and check out our socials to see exactly how you can get in that to maybe be chosen for one of those 2. And you can also check out Anchors Aweigh Life Coaching. We will put the info in the notes and in the description of the video, so you can get in touch with it there. So thanks again for being a part. We want to invite you guys to also check out Luke Bain, Realtor. His information is included. If you got any real estate needs in the Middle Tennessee area, he is your guy. And go check out DudeFaxPodcast.com. A lot of great information there and some awesome merch. I'm wearing one of our newest shirts right here. We got some coffee mugs going on. Your wardrobe is not complete if you don't have the profiles of the 4 dudes on your chest.
Yep.
If you don't want to get it tattooed, just wear the shirt.
I'll probably get the tattoo.
If you do get it tattooed, show us.
I'll probably just get the tattoo. Yeah,
That would be great.
We'll give you a free shirt if you get the T for tat.
If you tattoo our faces on your chest, we'll give you a shirt. That sounds like a great, fair offer. All right. Thanks for joining us. Love all you guys. We will see you next week. We out. Never gets old.